So welcome to episode 2 of What You Want to Call It podcast. Thank you to my guests who have come through. As you know, this podcast is about dating and relationships. So I have brought a few beautiful singles here to talk about their dating experiences and relationships. So the first question I'm going to start off with is, what are relationship goals to you guys?
I think relationship goals are lies.
Lies.
Yes, they're lies, because I was in a relationship that was relationship goals for a while, and it's an illusion. Because a relationship goals thing is a moment, is a picture. For all you know, they were fighting right before. For all you know, they're going to fight right after. For all you know,
it could be
not
toxic.
You know what I'm saying?
Abusive.
It doesn't necessarily mean that anything outside of that image is perfect, but
so then but then what's relationship goals when you think about it, like from an intrinsic standpoint, right? Like take away the externals. If you are to say that you're going to be in a successful relationship, what does that look like?
And that was what I was looking for.
Like
when I asked,
what would be the goal?
Mm-hmm. But I feel like relationship goals came from a hashtag, like it was an Instagram thing. It wasn't like I see people outside walking and their relationship goals. It was kind of like, this person did something nice. They took a nice picture together. Relationship goals, but not really like, they have such a great spiritual relationship. Because, that's very personal. A lot of people don't speak on that or speak on the things that they go on in their relationship. So it's not like you can be like, you could be like, they have great communication skills. I would like that in my relationship, but I wouldn't say like, their whole relationship is relationship goals. There we go.
Yeah. But is there a couple that any of you would look at and be like, I love them. Their chemistry looks so good. Like
I feel like from jump, a lot of people are gonna say Will and Jada.
And I was gonna say that. I was like, I think y'all gonna pick Will and Jada.
I feel like I would pick Will and Jada just because they're one of those couples that are very outspoken about their relationship with each other, with themselves, with their children. And I think that they make it very clear to the public eye that they have issues, but they work through it. And they're not like, they don't hide things. So I think that if anything, they would be like a couple that I would look to and kind of be like, okay, like I see how they're doing things, and I kind of want to emulate what that love looks like. Because I know Will had posted something recently where he's like, my wife needs to be happy, on her own. Like, it's not my responsibility to make her happy per se, in the sense that, of course, you want to make your significant other happy, but like, you should be able to do that for yourself. And if you can't do that for yourself, who are you to now put that pressure on someone else if you can't do it for yourself? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in terms of someone I would look at, I'd say them, because I don't really have another relationship that's so outspoken with their love to be able to look at and say like, oh my God, like what's going on? What's real? What's not real? I feel like they're the most vocal couple on Instagram, on social media in general. Just from the way they talk to the red table talk and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm.
Also, Tiana Taylor.
What's
his name? I don't even know. Shumpert. There we go. I like. They seem like they have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Gucci and Keisha Kayode.
Yeah.
Look.
Amazing.
Love.
Look, they look so. That's some good.
They do. Listen.
They look good though.
They do look good,
but they do.
Gucci has come a long way.
Now, if you listen to her interview on The Breakfast Club, like she was not playing with him. Mm-hmm. Like when he was in jail, she told him, like she kept him on a schedule. Like she pushed him to be better, and you could see from when he went in to when he came out, he was better, and you could tell he's committed to her. He's not really looking at nobody else. I want that.
So I saw something on social media this week, and I'm all like, talk about like social media junkie. I love it. I love social media. Like I love the memes. I love the jokes. I love social media. And I saw a quote that said, a psychologist told me that if you love somebody, you would not even look in the direction of another person. And I say this all the time, like in passing, like in joking with my friends, like when I meet a guy that I like, it's like, I don't see nobody else. Like I'm focused. He has my attention. Like I don't even have time for anybody else because he got my attention. How do y'all feel about that? Do you think it's true?
I feel like that's unrealistic for the long haul. And I say that because when you talk to seasoned couples who have been in relationships for a long time, who have had battles in their relationships, like real battles, I feel like that's cute to say in the beginning. Like, of course, you want to be infatuated with the person that you're dating. You want to feel like this is the only person in the world. But when life gets tough, like that's when you really have to decipher like whether or not this person is in it with you for the long haul, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like, you know, one thing I always tell people is that you're marrying who I am today, but I'm going to be completely different 5 years from now. Exactly. I'm going to be completely different 10 years from now. And not to say that your commitment should change, but there's going to be times in your relationship where maybe you do question if this is the person you were supposed to be with, or maybe you do question if you should leave versus whether or not you should stay. Like, I feel like it's not realistic to say that I only have eyes for you and I'm only ever going to have eyes for you for the rest of our lives together. You have couples who have gone through infidelity issues and they've come across that, you know, that issue, and they're still staying strong. They're still together. I think it's like,
but I think the scope of what you're talking about and the scope of her question are two different things. I think, generally speaking, at the beginning, I might be wrong here, but I feel like there needs to be a genuine attraction there. And there needs to be a genuine, like, physical attraction there, where it's just you are into this other person. Now, talking long haul, of course, that's a whole different conversation.
Okay, so let's take away long haul, right? Mm-hmm. I know someone I don't know her personally, but I met her, and she's married. And the way she took her approach to dating was that she was dating several people, and she was very deductive with it. She was like, I'm dating 10 people. I'm going to figure out what I like the most about all these 10 people, and I'm going to start dropping them. And she and the people she was dating were very on board with what she was doing. Like, they were okay with her approach. And the person she ended up marrying, in her head, yes, she loved him and cared for him and everything like that, but he was the most logical choice as well. So I think that people date so differently that it's hard for you to just say off bat, I'm going to see you and I only have eyes for you. Sometimes people date and they have eyes for 3 people. And then it's like, okay, you can't date all 3 unless you want to, and that's the lifestyle you live. But I think I think it's very subjective.
Okay. I mean, like, I don't disagree with what you're saying at all, but I feel like, because I was like that, like, when I was in, that's bad. When I was in a relationship, I didn't necessarily have eyes for him, but that's only because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do to keep me focused on him, you know? And in the beginning it was like, yes, I just want this person. But it's like, it also gets to a point, like, is that person also doing what they're supposed to do to keep you focused on them, and vice versa? Because once y'all start to fall out of, like, communication, or you guys are not doing what you're supposed to do on both sides, of course you're going to start looking somewhere else to get what you want at the end of the day, because that's what it is. You're looking elsewhere because you're not getting those needs met from the person that you really want. So, I mean, it's cool in the beginning. Like, yeah, I'm focused on you, whatever. But I don't know.
But I will say, because you did bring up a good point where it's like, you're looking for something from someone else. And I feel like it's very important that you vocalize what you need from that person.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
To me, I don't think it's fair for you to expect something from somebody that you did not vocalize. Yeah. If I tell you what I want and then you don't give it to me, okay, cool. But if you don't give it to me and you didn't even know I wanted it, then it's like, you know what I'm saying?
But can I add on top of that? I 100%, 1000% agree with you. It's very important to vocalize.
What about 10,000?
But that too. But it's also important to vocalize when something that you don't want is happening. Because I think a thing that Nigerian girls do a lot is,
Wait a minute. This is a podcast for the people. Okay, it's for everybody.
That got very personal.
That got real quick.
Yoruba girls, I might as well. You know what I'm saying? Let me zoom in on
it down.
My demographic. I know what I'm talking about.
Narrowed it down.
My point was,
just say.
I feel like a thing that young ladies do a lot of the time is be upset about something and not say anything. And you can claim to be doing that in the pursuit of keeping the peace. Mm-hmm. But if you're upset about something and it's genuinely,
but is that really keeping the peace in long, like in the long term? Are you keeping the peace, or are you breaking the peace by, like, not being vocal about?
If you go on a nigga's phone, you need to talk about it the next day. That's my point. Don't wait a week. Don't wait a month.
Okay.
Don't have a nigga out here. Don't have a nigga out here.
That's trust issues.
What the hell? No, see, because 90% of the time,
somebody's phone, it's about time to go.
I don't have time. No.
See, but here's the thing, though. Sometimes you're just wrong about, like, something. Like you've read something and you're actually just wrong.
Okay, so if you feel the need to read something,
If you feel the need to go, exactly.
What was the original question?
One thing I will say about a woman is that they have intuition. They know when something is not right. So if a woman is going through your phone, there is a reason. She's not just going through your phone just to say, "Oh, I want to go through your phone." But
see, but no. I think you can't just start off there, right? Because you have people who bring in baggage from other relationships, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to what are you carrying from your upbringing? What are you carrying from past relationships? What are you carrying just from your own thought process into a relationship, right? Because I do agree that women can have that intuition and just know like, oh, you're lying, right? But then there's also like, okay, that's not intuition. Right. You're just bringing everything into this new relationship that you had in your old, right? I'm not saying you're not going to have your baggage, because then you have the other spectrum, right? Where it's like, give me some of your baggage. Like you have those guys where it's like they trying to carry the moon, the sun, the stars, and they don't want to talk to you. We've been dating for 2 years. I don't know not one baggage that you've carried, right? So it's like it's a balance, because it's like I don't need someone. I don't need to find love in a hopeless place and we're just both broken together and just I don't need that. But at the same time, I don't need someone who's so closed off that he doesn't want to share what he's going through with me. You know what I'm saying?
I think the point that you just arrived at there is my whole thinking on this whole topic, and that's where my brain has been at since the beginning. At the end of the day, it's balance.
Maybe we should date each other.
Maybe.
I'm playing, but you know.
No, but I think at the end of the day, it's the thing that you're looking for is balance, because people are varying degrees of fucked up, but people are also varying degrees of together. Yeah. And what you want to find somebody who's maybe not even necessarily like at the same place, but just that you balance yourself out.
I've always said that, and this is something that I live by. I'm working on a better me so that we can have a great we. Before you venture into dating and being with somebody, you have to be in a good place. You cannot just believe that, okay, I have all these problems, I'm going to find somebody and we're going to share the problems. No, that's not how it goes. And again, all your problems are not going to go away. Like, you're still going to have problems, but you are work in progress. But you cannot bring endless baggage into a relationship and think that shit is going to just smooth out. Because if you are not okay and at ease and at peace with yourself, you are never going to be at peace with somebody else, because it all starts within. Yeah.
But I also think too is like, we can only do our best, right? Because there's some baggage that you don't even know you have until you get into a relationship, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I didn't know I had this issue until I started dating somebody. Yeah. I didn't know this was going to be an issue.
You're in a serious relationship,
and so 5 years in, now this is an issue, right? Like there's certain baggage that presents itself later on down the line.
But I think, and then this circles back to the point that you were making earlier. When we're talking about a long-term, like permanent commitment, like you are trying to be with this person for the rest of your life, that's where you start to see issues like that, and that's where the issue, that's where the question of commitment comes up.
What do you guys think about PDA?
I love
I'm
it.
here for it. I'm a big PDA person.
But with that, it's also you also need to know your environment. I went on a date like a couple months ago, and dude, we are literally at some museum and we're sitting down and waiting, and he's trying to put his hand all over me. I'm like, dude, there are people here.
I get frisky at museums.
First of all, we're not even on that level.
There's not people there.
No, it's okay. No, but it was like, okay, you can touch me on my back, right? But your hand shouldn't be up in my, like, touching my boob. You should,
it's not like you were like in a relationship.
And that's the thing, we weren't even in a relationship. But it's like,
I'm going to harass you at museums because I like museums.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
I'm okay with PDA. I'm okay with the hugs, the kisses, and all. But you also got to be aware of your environment. You do not need to be on the brink of having sex in the middle of the club. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Listen, this is me.
I will tell you my opinion after. I'm going to let y'all go.
I'm very touchy. And this is going back to the upbringing part, right? If we talk about how upbringing has affected our relationships, I realized maybe a couple of years ago, because people are like, oh, Nikki, you're so touchy. I never thought about it. And then I thought about it, and I came to the conclusion of why. I'm like, I've never been in the same place with my parents for an extended period of time, right? Like I was saying earlier, I was on my own since I was 17, but before that I was living with my mom. I wasn't with my dad. There was times when my dad wasn't there. Both of my parents now live in Nigeria. So when I see them, for me, it's very tangible. Like when I see them, it's tangible. I want to touch them. That has translated for me. So if I see you, I touch you, right? Girl, guy, whatever. And for me, PDA is very like, it's my love language. Like physical touch is my first love language. But because it's my first love language, if I do not care for you, you should not touch me, right? Like there's situations where if I'm talking to you and I'm still like on the fence or I don't know you, do not put one finger, right? I'm the kind of person, if you're in the club, you need to go over there. Do not touch my body to go over there, right? Do not, like I'm very finicky about like I guess, what is it? That who it is, when it is. You know what I'm saying?
And that's important about who it is.
If I don't know you, you can't just touch me.
Right.
You can't just do this.
Yeah.
But if I know you, it's on a pocket.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I'm saying?
I agree 10,000%. But I think dating somebody, getting to know somebody, is figuring out if you're on the same wavelength. You understand what I'm saying? And that goes with it too. Third date, I might, you know what I'm saying? I might just risk it.
But it depends on.
I'm just saying.
But listen, it depends on how you're reading the vibe,
That's
right?
exactly,
If we're vibing in a way where it's like, okay, cool, like there's no time factor to it. It's the vibe.
It's a time factor.
But there's people who do it prematurely, and you're just like, what are you doing? Why are you kissing me? This is we've only been on a date for 30 minutes.
We're not even on that vibe yet. I'm
not giving you no signal.
Nothing like stay away.
One of my really big problems with PDA is that, shorty, you spoiling my market. Like
That's the word.
I'm still available and you trying to make me look unavailable. Like nobody knows what we're doing here.
Listen.
So get your hand off of my waist.
Especially if y'all haven't, like she was saying, had that conversation about what we are.
Yeah.
It's lame. It's claiming territory that you literally don't own, you don't have, you don't.
Yeah, nothing. And we never drew the line or the border or the boundary.
Voice for testosterone in this conversation. If I put my hand on your waist out in public, and you don't want my hand to be on your waist, I don't want my hand to be on your waist, then we need to just leave it alone and just go home. Because
or
I'm not gonna do shit like that. I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna take your hand off of my.
He understands what I'm saying.
No, I'm gonna take your hand off my waist to remind you that we've not made it there yet.
If I actually do, but I'm saying I want to take shit there.
Then have that conversation.
Then we have to talk about that.
Do not make that declaration out in the club.
What'd you say?
Whoa, this is throwing me up.
But listen.
5 seconds ago you were talking about staking territory. What if this is me putting down my flag? Yeah, nah.
No. Okay, but listen. No.
You're putting down your flag.
That's not how I see it. The way I see it is that's going back. Wait, that's going. No, listen. That's going back to misogyny taking place, right? You know for a fact what you want, what you don't want, because if you wanted it, you would have told me when we was at home. Now we're out. I'm looking good, and Now we're out. I'm looking good.
Exactly.
We are around other
and you're
prospects.
getting attention.
Now all of a sudden your hand wants to slip to my waist.
Exactly.
Listen, you're subconsciously. Listen, you are subconsciously.
No, you don't.
You are subconsciously trying to lay claim on somebody.
Doing it, and then what?
Okay, consciously. You're trying to lay claim on somebody that you have not claimed in private.
You didn't know you wanted me until we went to the bar, and all these men wanted to buy me rounds of drinks, and then you was like, wait, hold up.
You're just looking like a very just argumentative type of person. First, niggas are not staking claim. Then when niggas are staking claim, oh no, don't do claim this way. So you now want to define the parameters of staking a claim. Look, if you want a nigga that's man enough for you, and he's saying you are there, you're looking good. If I'm grabbing something, I'm grabbing something. If you don't want me to grab it, tell me not to grab it, and then I won't grab it, and then everybody's gonna go home.
If you go out, right, and you've never put your hands on me, you never touched me before, you never shown that type of interest in me, but it's when we go out, then you want to start acting different, you want to start acting brand new, that's a problem. Especially when we haven't had that conversation. And you are also spoiling the market, because in my head, since we haven't had that conversation, I don't even know that's what you're thinking. That I'm not even thinking that's how you're viewing me. So do not, when we go out and you see people looking at me or trying to talk to me, now I'm yours. Since when?
Because listen, if you think about it from the other, if you think about it from the other perspective, right? Let's say you're not even doing the touching of the waist. We're out. We're a situationship. All of a sudden, my hand is on your neck. I'm nibbling on your ear. I'm doing the PDA stuff. Now you start trying to shun me in public because we have not had that conversation.
We keep moving the goalposts. We keep talking about one thing, and then we're now just,
okay.
Are we playing soccer? Are we playing football? Are we... There's a lot of stuff going on here. What I'm saying
is that you present
if
the
we're
right.
talking as normal human beings, not like, I've been benching since and we don't want everybody to know, so we're keeping this on the low, or whatever, or you don't want to date him, but he wants to date you, so sometimes you go out with him.
Okay, mutual talking.
Mutual talking.
Your hand belongs on her
Mutual
waist.
hanging out. Hello, Auntie,
Okay.
can I say what I'm saying?
No, I'm agreeing. Okay, cool.
Mutual talking.
Yes.
Mutual vibes.
Yes.
Mutual hanging out.
Yes.
If I grab the waist, that is me telling you something, son. We're trying to move it to the next level.
Okay, but what if you're...
Why does it have to be a fight? No, you guys have been shouting up and down since.
I have a question.
It's when you start to do it when you notice that she's getting attention from someone else. So then it goes back to what are your true
It feels like,
intentions?
look, you people are talking about specific guys.
No, I'm not.
You guys are, I feel like each and every one of you here, you're talking about
You're making an
one
even
guy.
me?
I mean, I didn't
You're
give
making
you an
an
entire
assumption.
situation. I mean, if you want a story, I got one. But
So
that's
That's what I'm saying.
You're making
Temi,
an
I have a
assumption.
question for you.
Question for me.
So we didn't have this conversation prior, but you grabbed my waist. We're
Yeah.
out and about.
You're saying like theoretically.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like I'm drawing up a scenario. Are we gonna have a conversation about that?
I talk all the time, son. I
So,
can text
like-
you right there. Like we can have a conversation. That's not a problem.
So once you grab my waist, you said that's you. Actions speak louder than words. So that's you making a statement.
I'm not grabbing waists on first dates. That's some weirdo shit.
But if the vibe is there, why not?
Exactly. Now, if the first date is a day party, everybody's lit off the mimosas.
Then
You know what I'm
everyone's
saying?
grabbing
Yeah,
waist.
sometimes it happens. Your first date can be the group trip.
You-
There's a lot of other.
I think
that's exactly
this is
my
what
point.
this
So,
is.
like, I don't want us to set down rules that are so strict, and because it feels when you start doing that, the question to me becomes
It's
then,
not
okay,
natural.
who gets to set?
It's unnatural.
It's not natural. Number one. Number two, who gets to set the rules?
But I
Because
think,
a lot of a lot of the conversation that we've
Yeah.
been having is you saying, "Oh well, you shouldn't do this, but you shouldn't
but
do this, but you
you,
shouldn't do this."
but that's the point, right? You set the rules for yourself, and I
Exactly.
think that's
Exactly.
why I say
Exactly.
that. I feel like women and men need to be more vocal about what they want
Yes.
and what they don't want.
Yes.
There's a lot of women like, "Oh my god, he touched me." Okay, if he touched you and you didn't like it, why didn't you?
Why didn't you tell him?
Right.
Because you came back and told me when you could have took that energy right to him.
And exactly,
After he
and
touched
vice
you.
versa. So to me, it goes back to the balance thing, right?
He didn't touch me. Yeah, in the group chat, he didn't touch me.
Oh, and that, no, that's actually a thing.
No, trust me.
That's actually a
you
thing.
really be waiting and wanting it.
Oh, that's
and-
actually a thing.
Do you know how often I've been insulted because I didn't engage with somebody who wanted to engage?
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden I'm a faggot. I'm like, no. If there's one message I can deliver, I feel it's heavy on my spirit right now. I just need to
What
say
is it? Please.
Heavy. It's heavy on the
Sometimes, homie isn't stepping up because he doesn't want to step up. He's not that
facts.
interested.
Yeah.
He's just not that into you.
I mean, that's,
Yeah,
He's not into you, yeah.
facts.
And that's the thing too. Sometimes
But do guys know when you're just not into them?
That's a whole different conversation. And I feel like that happens way more often than the other way
really
around.
does.
Yeah.
persistent.
Yeah.
My God.
You'd be like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm responding with one letter text or okay, don't even do the whole K. I do the K. I give you a
Yeah.
letter. I'm not interested. But then you'll send me a whole paragraph. Good morning, beautiful. Ah!
But it's also very important to say like, hey homie, I just don't see it
Yeah.
going in that route.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So that
and
they don't
that
have to
is-
read between the lines.
I think that is
Just
best
read the
case
lines.
scenario. That's what's happening.
yeah.
No,
If somebody's
just read
putting
it.
a lot of out there, and you just like, bro,
But you know what the issue is? I think in our day and age, a lot of people are not comfortable enough being that open.
Yeah.
And I've been in situations where people will be like, "Oh my god, that hurt my spirit," but I'm so glad you were open. I'm so glad you were truthful. We're in a ghosting era. We're in a
ghosting era. See, yeah,
Can we talk about ghosting?
Listen, we're in a ghosting era where people feel like they do not owe you an explanation as to why they do not do, like they no longer want to communicate with you, right? And so they don't
And
take
you're
any
forced.
they don't take any heed to how you would feel,
Yeah.
what you're thinking. They say, I don't want to talk to you, so therefore I'm not going to text you, I'm not going to call you, I'm not going to plan nothing,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, but
You're forced to read between the lines, like-
I have to shout a
read
little
between
bit.
the lines.
I have to shout a little bit in this because again, it's one guy, 3 girls, so I need to just
Women ghost
Here's the
you.
thing: women will also entertain men that they have no intentions of actually dealing with
Yes.
because it's convenient.
Yeah.
Because
They're bored.
See, yeah, because
They don't have anybody else at the time.
the dude sending
They
you the
just
good
broke up
morning
with
text.
somebody.
Yeah.
the dude sending you the good morning text every day, right? Are all three of you going to say here that you haven't woken up one day and been like, you know what, brunch sounds good, and I know I don't want jack shit to do with this guy, but brunch sounds good, and he's sending me good morning text every day, so brunch sounds good. And let me tell me Moses, and you know that you don't want nothing to do with the guy.
Let me respond. I personally do not do that, but I also know that guys do the same thing. They cast their net and they say, whatever fish jumps in, I'm good.
Most guys don't have the ability for someone to jump into the net when they cast the net.
Wait a minute. What?
Most guys.
That's a lie. That is a whole lie. Guys, you have to. But guys are the pursuers. You have to remember that. So you have to remember that guys are the pursuers.
Can I make the point? Can I say the point? The point that I'm making, guys are because guys have to pursue. At the end of the day, girls choose. In terms of like the relative attractiveness of a guy compared to the number of girls that he's going to get or have the opportunity to deal with, it's not a normal distribution.
Well, let's look at the DMV. When you look at the DMV and you look at the amount of women who are single and who are well off according to whatever terms people have deemed.
The average guy cannot post on his IG.
Okay.
I want to go to dinner. Who wants to hang out tonight?
That's fine. But I think
and have somebody jump.
Listen. But
the average guy.
I feel like some of that is also internal. Because there's guys that if they actually tried and they weren't so much in their head about, oh, she's gonna say no, they could ask a girl out with the confidence they have and she can say yes.
You're talking about asking a girl out. I'm saying the average guy can't put it out there. I want to go out tonight. Who wants to hang out? The average girl can post on her IG story, I want to go out tonight. Who wants to hang out? And some guy is gonna come and pick up.
Can I
finish the sentence?
To me, it sounds like you're saying that the girl has a bigger lineup than the guy.
Yes,
and in my perspective, the guy has a bigger lineup than the girl.
No.
Guy has a bigger lineup.
The average
guy has a bigger lineup.
The average girl can post on her IG story right now. I want to go out tonight. Can I say what I'm saying?
What girls are doing this?
Jesus is Lord. Can I make a point? The average girl can post on her IG story right now. I want to go out tonight. Who wants to hang out? And somebody is going to be ready and willing. And she can make it happen. It's going to be a thirsty nigga. The average guy. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about.
Oh, so you're not average. You're above. I'm just kidding.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to interject because
we're getting off topic.
Yeah, we have to change the topic.
Okay,
and we have to start wrapping this up. So I have picked a few wild cards, and I'm gonna let you each pick a wild card.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you go first, B.
All right.
And go ahead and read out loud.
Does rejection make you chase the person more? God, no. No, because men can deal with rejection a lot better than women. Mm-hmm. If you reject me, my feelings are hurt. And I'm really thinking to myself, what did I do? Like, was it my hair? Was the sex bad? If there's a lot of questions that go through your mind. A guy, you tell them no, they're like, all right, on to the next.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want to talk to you no more. You hurt my feelings. Yeah.
So I have this thing where I literally live by this. Like, you have one time to reject me. Yep. Like if I ever wanted you in my life and you said no, it's no for life.
I am not recirculating. I am not coming back to that because that's a lot of fate.
What's funny is that I have friends who've known me for so long and they're like, "Oh, you really glowed up." I'm like, "Thanks, guys." Mm-hmm. And they're like, "So what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, hell no." If you don't want me back then, you're definitely not having me now.
Let me tell you how I was a little.
But
no, look.
No.
Growing up, well, when I was in middle school or whatever, I did not look like this. Yeah. Right? There was a glow.
Yeah.
That didn't count. That went into my life. Right.
Yeah.
I went up. So then as I went up, my DMs went up too. Oh, hey, beautiful. Hey, what?
Yeah.
No.
You don't want me back then.
No. Because you want me now. And you was making fun of me back then. So I definitely.
Let me tell you.
So no. Back up. All right.
You have one
and it's so funny. Wait. And you know what is so funny? Have I? I will say this last point. It is just very funny. Well, let me finish.
She barely said much.
She has barely
had the card now.
It was her courage.
She really talks.
I will say this. It is funny to me how you will see these people that you grew up with. They were like the populars, the whatevers. And you see them now. And it's like, ooh.
It's
the
different
tables
now.
have turned.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because I was humble when I was down. Okay. Now that I'm up.
Back then they didn't want me. Now they all want me.
Right. So go ahead. I'm done my points.
Okay.
Me too. I have points. Go
I
ahead.
just felt the need, like, you made a lot of points there, and the ones that I remember, I'm going to respond to. First point, blanket statements: men handle rejection better.
Yes.
It's a whole lie. Okay.
Oh.
Have you ever seen a woman carry gun and go and shoot up a nightclub because people are rejecting her? This is America. That shit happens all the time. Am I lying?
Facts.
Have I lied?
I mean, it's facts. We don't do that.
Some niggas, they can't take no, dog. Number one. Number two, I don't know what the rape statistics for women or men is, but I know that it's not even, like, niggas is fucked up. That whole men take it is just, I don't think that, like, just as a statement, men handle rejection better. I don't think that's.
They just handle rejection more.
They do.
They have to deal with it more. They have to deal with it more.
But like, if you get rejected, you're not thinking to yourself, "Oh, am I fat? Am I?"
No, they can be. No, they can be. That's the thing. You can't make that assumption.
That's the point that I'm making.
You can't make that
Auntie,
assumption.
hello, it's my own turn now. We're taking turn by turn. Because there's 3 babes and 1 guy, so I feel like I should be getting 2 tones instead of 1. But I'm limiting myself to 1 tone. So let's just.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? That's number 1. No, just talking about rejection by myself.
Yeah.
Personally. If you don't like me, I don't like you. Like, that's just, it's been my motto. I'm serious.
It has to be reciprocated.
What is it? I would not be stressing myself, spending my own money. Do you know how hard I work? No, I'm tired. If you don't like me, I don't like you.
Can I say
personally,
something?
that's how
Can
I
I
do
say
rejection.
So this is my take on it, right? If you reject me, I'm no longer interested, because at that point, like, you've made it clear that you don't want me. So then what am I going to do? I can't force it, right? One thing I will say, though, is that I feel like as you get older, you know, the criteria of what you're looking for, it's like a lot of people have the baseline, right? You get older, it's like you have a good job, you don't have kids, it's like the basics, everybody has that. So now you go beyond that and it's like, are we compatible? And I remember I had a friend and she was like, oh, me and so-and-so, we went on a great date. It was so great, but he didn't hit me up after. But I was like, do you know how many great dates he could have been on? I could go on a great date with 5 guys. But at the end of the day, I can't date all 5. I have to pick one, right?
Yo, I'm only sharing this because this is a podcast and I'm trying to be, you know what I'm saying, out there. That shit happened to me. I went on a great date like a couple months back. I thought it was one of the best dates of my life. I was like, you know what? I started telling all my friends about that shit.
Yeah.
I put it in the group chats, dog.
Yeah.
The real group chats now, not the general, happy hour group chat. The group chats with my niggas, like my main men. I was like, yo, man, I might be out the gate, dog. And that shit did not pan out.
Exactly. And I think it's important to realize that you can have that same experience with multiple people. Multiple people can give you butterflies. Multiple people can make you feel like you're on top of the world, can give you that great conversation. And that's when that's when the deductive reasoning comes into play. And it's like, okay, I dated 5 girls, let me narrow it down to 3, let me narrow it down to 1, right? Because at the end of the day, you get older and you realize a lot of people have a lot of great qualities, but you can't date all the great qualities that are out there. So I feel like when it comes to rejection from that standpoint, people have to realize that sometimes it's not rejection because there's something wrong with you. It's just that you connect better with someone else than this person. That's my first thing about it. And I think the second thing about it would just be like, I remember my friend telling me, he was like, guys have been trained to handle rejection from an earlier age than women. From jump. Oh my God, Bobby, leave me alone. Oh my God, Jean. And it's like, oh, she doesn't like me. Like, they've been trained to be able to manage rejection very, very young. Whereas women, we're dealing with rejection from a more like we're older, and then we're dealing with rejection, and then we don't know what to do because it's like, I ain't never been rejected before. Like, what is this supposed to look like? Because we're not the pursuer. So it just comes back to like how things are played out, right? So when women get rejected, it's more personal. It's more like there's something wrong with me. It's more like they internalize it and they take it very deep. Whereas it's kind of just like, no, just chalk it up as like, you can't be for everybody and keep it moving. Charge it to the game. Like, that's it. Yeah. Not everybody's gonna like you.
I feel like
and somebody can like you, but like somebody else better.